And we're live here on Facebook. I'd like to welcome those listening in podcast land and those on YouTube. Rich, you want to say hello to everybody?
Hey, folks. Thanks for tuning in this week on a special Friday night show because we're both busy on Saturday.
Super busy tomorrow. First things first, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Rich's wife. Happy birthday to you. She has 2 recordings of that now, by the way.
Yeah.
And ones for previous years, too. So,
exactly.
There you go. Amy.
All right, Mike. So what are we talking about this Friday night?
Well, first we got to do our normal how you doing, hey, how's it going stuff before we get into the show outline. Rich, how's it going? How's your week been?
It was all right.
The people care about how you're doing, Rich. Nobody's listening, but they care. Yeah, anything? How was the birthday celebrations yesterday?
It was nice. My folks came over with cake,
Ooh.
with cake and ice cream.
You know what's better than cake and ice cream?
What's better than cake and ice cream?
Ice cream cake.
Yeah, ice cream cake is pretty good.
Anyway.
And and tomorrow we'll be out in Coal Valley celebrating with her folks.
Yeah, and
firing up the grill.
Yeah. Ooh. We're firing up the grill tomorrow too. My in-laws are coming up. We're also going to Sioux Falls. It's going to be a busy day tomorrow.
It sounds like it, Mike. Sounds like it.
So Rich, NHL season starts this week. 4 days from today right now, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does.
So, you excited about that?
Not really. It's hard for me to get excited about hockey. It gets played on cable TV, and unless it's a special event game like the Winter Classic or the playoffs, I really don't follow hockey that much.
Hockey needs to get Saturday night hockey or Saturday hockey, like hockey during the day, all day Saturday or something like that.
So you're gonna put.
Oh, that goes against college.
That goes against college football, and you're not going to put them against NFL football, so they're not going to get the coverage.
And you're not going to put them against Friday night because everybody's out watching their kids at football.
Yep.
So,
hockey, like baseball at times, is a sport for the diehards.
Yeah, and I personally do love hockey. I really do love hockey. I wish it got more play. I wish I didn't have to look for where it's going to be on when. I think, didn't they sign with, was it ESPN this year?
ESPN will have games as well as TNT, and because it's on the ESPN family of networks, I believe they are doing some games that are going to be exclusively covered on ESPN Plus and Hulu. So if you have the Disney bundle, you might be able to get some content and games streaming exclusively to where you won't have to say that you have a cable provider, which is going to allow you to watch the game on ESPN Plus.
We are doing too much talking about hockey in our intro.
I know we're losing some of our talking points when we get there.
We'll get there. We'll get there in a minute. We have NHL dropping this week. We have baseball. We can finally be done with the Cubs in this terrible year. Rich, what else we got this week?
We'll be talking about the playoffs. The playoffs started today with division series matchups. Kind of give you a quick recap of how those series are going. And then we'll be going into the NASCAR Corner, which is presented, as always, by AAA Sports Cards Incorporated. And, Mike, where are we going to be ending the show?
Probably football. We'll go to the gridiron. We might have some quick hits. We might not. We'll see if we actually get there eventually. But we'll all that and more. But first, Rich, I'll give you the honors.
All right, Mike. Let's roll the intro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich. Okay, and we're back. Okay, folks. As always, we're going to start with our poll question of the week. Poll question of the week was your tailgate foods that are smoked for a tailgate foods showdown. This week, we have pork ribs versus beef ribs. Rich, what do you think?
I went with pork ribs.
Man, I really... So again, I love pork ribs. Those are the ones that I've always cooked. I've always been pretty good at cooking them. But good beef ribs, by the way, I have some short ribs in the freezer right now from that quarter cow that I got. And I'm going to smoke those, and those are going to be fire. Like, they're just going to be delicious. But I had to go with pork ribs. I think they're...
You know?
Well, that's what I know, and I think they're a little easier to eat. Beef ribs are just giant. Like, honestly, though, beef ribs are just... They're just, like... Because normally you only get one, and you have, like... It's like a meat lollipop is really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I really do want to vote for beef ribs. I really do. But I know pork ribs better. One of the times you're up here, hopefully we can... next summer, you guys should try to come up next summer. That's what we should shoot for. Come up on a Friday, like come up. You guys come up on like take the Friday off, and you both come up on a Friday. Be here for dinner. We'll take you to a barbecue joint up here. That hopefully he can do beef ribs that week. They're gonna blow your mind, and you're gonna vote for beef ribs the rest of your life. But the winner, Rich, pork ribs.
Narrow victory though, 7-6.
Yeah, I almost changed my vote. I really did almost change my vote. Like right before the show started.
All right.
But I didn't. So Rich, what is this week's poll question?
This week, Mike, we're going to go with turkey, brisket, or pork.
Ooh, so the traditional smoking competition like trifecta. You do some pork, you do some pork butt, you do some brisket, and you do some turkey. Man, sounds good to me.
We're going to throw it up. That'll wrap up the smoked category.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of decide where we're going to go next week, if that'll be for more cooked items, cooked or soups, or if we're going to go to cold items.
Nice.
Next week. So
nice.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there, Mike.
Okay. Well, like you said, we're thinking about going to cold items, and what can be colder than a hockey puck?
Yeah, let's lace up those skates and make some really bad guesses.
Oh yeah,
we really don't know hockey that much.
As much as
maybe,
like if hockey is on, if I'm flipping channels and hockey's on, I'm leaving hockey on because I love hockey. But I'm not recording it. Like I recorded the grand finals of the All Z Rules footy. I kind of am bummed that we don't talk about that more. Do you still have my Sling subscription?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
We should start next year. Next year when the season starts, we'll both watch the weekly match. We'll be a week behind.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk Aussie Rules footy next year.
Okay.
Okay. But I'm not gonna record hockey. Like I'm not going like. If I know that it's on and it's something I want to watch, like I would try to watch the Blackhawks, but I don't get in. Well, are they going to be on NBC Chicago anymore?
I don't know what channel they're on anymore, Mike. As we were talking about in the kind of weekly recap between the two of us, you could maybe have more ways to watch the games this year, as they're not going to be buried on NBCSN, which is going away. So at least you'll have TNT games on a weekly game on TNT a couple times a week, and ESPN is going to take over and bring back NHL coverage, as well as there's going to be games that are going to be exclusive for Hulu subscribers and ESPN Plus.
I wonder if it's only the Hulu with live TV, or if I'm just a regular Hulu member, do I get to watch it?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
We'll have to watch that. I'm a Disney Plus bundle person, so
yeah.
I'm thinking maybe I should have the access. I could see
nothing more on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, maybe blocking it if it's a the Blackhawks because they're the local team, or for you maybe the Wild.
Except hockey doesn't care. They want more people to watch, so they're not going to black out stuff. Man, Major League Baseball, maybe you should get behind something like that. Maybe if more people could watch it, you might have more fans. Wait, who said that,
Maybe.
Rich?
I don't know. All right, Mike. So, um, wow. So, we're gonna save this. We got a lot to talk about this week. So we're gonna give you our Stanley Cup picks next week. But Mike, let's just do rapid fire. Who's gonna win the division?
Yep.
Because we're finally back to normal. As you're gonna have Atlantic, Metropolitan, Central, and Western, and they're not gonna. So back to normal for hockey this year.
Okay.
Um, Mike, the Atlantic Division.
I mean, how do you pick against the Lightning right now?
I'm gonna have to agree. I'm
I
gonna go
mean,
with the Lightning as well.
in general, how do you pick against Tampa Bay? If there's a professional team in Tampa Bay, how do you pick against them? That's the other question. If they have Tampa Bay in front of their name, how do you pick against them, Rich?
You shouldn't.
Right. Right. I mean, we can start calling it Titletown again. Okay. So you picked them as well, okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lightning as well. Mike, who do you like in the Metropolitan Division?
The Capitals, I think.
I know this is another division where I'm not sure who to pick, so I'm gonna go with the New York Islanders.
Okay.
I don't know why. I'm just gonna go with them.
Who knows? Um, in the Central Division, who you picking, Rich?
Not the Blackhawks.
No.
I've been picking the Avalanche the past couple of years, but I'm gonna switch it up this year, and I'm gonna go with the Dallas Stars.
Something says that the Predators are going to be a good team. I mean, they're always a good team, but I think they're going to be a really good team this year. Let's look for them to make it and win the division. And finally, let's head out west, the Pacific. Who's going to win there, Rich?
I think right now it's hard to pick against the Golden Knights.
When Will Smith is your leader. Oh wait, that's the wrong Golden Knights, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Independence Day. We're not picking
No.
the Independence Day Golden Knights because those
No.
Golden Knights were the ones that kicked the crap out of the aliens.
Okay.
I'm still picking the Golden Knights
Okay.
because they beat
Golden
aliens.
Knights. Will Seattle do as well as the Golden Knights did in their expansion year?
I hope so. I'm glad to see Seattle getting something other. I mean, they've been a one team, two team.
A two-sport team.
Yeah,
They've
two-sport
had the Seahawks
city.
and the Mariners.
After for a while now, they deserve to have basketball back, which it sounds like they might be getting basketball in a couple of years.
They could. They have the arena. They built that new arena
Yeah.
with the intent that it could also house a basketball team without the sightlines being all messed up.
So I mean,
And everybody wants the Sonics back.
we could totally see the Sonics come back, which would be great. But yeah, I don't know how the Kraken are gonna do. It's a weird name, by the way.
I like it.
Okay.
But so let's get off the ice and go to the baseball diamond.
Yep.
Because I want to get to the playoffs. Let's put the Cubs on the back burner
Okay.
and so the playoffs right now. Their division games are currently going on. The wild card games from Tuesday and Wednesday, Mike.
So apparently I did a terrible job of picking. Actually, I did a great job because I hate both these teams and they both lost. So
Yeah, the Yankees and the Cardinals lost in their wild card games. That was a wild ending.
I
to the
totally.
Cardinals game, though.
By the way, I totally feel like I just owe you dinner or owe you lunch now, strictly because I totally biffed on this altogether.
That's not how we do the lunch bets, though.
I
It's
know,
who
but
wins the World Series matchup.
okay. Okay. I offered at least.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, you had great reasons for picking the Cardinals. The Yankees, maybe not so much, but if anything, you stuck to your route, you stuck to your guns on your preseason pick that the Yankees were going to win the World Series. So,
Yeah.
I respect the choice,
Yeah.
even if it was a little flawed,
Yeah.
based on having to go through the wild card to get all the way and win the World
I
Series.
mean, I'm amazed at the Cardinals being that hot. I mean, nobody knew what was going to happen in that game, and at the end of that game, Cardinal fans were standing there stunned, like, "Oh my goodness, did that just happen?" In the blink of an eye, they went from hoping that they could, to hope for extras to nothing. By the way, once you get into a tied situation in the bottom of the ninth or later, the percentage chance that the away team wins drops dramatically. It's just a rule. So going into the bottom of the ninth tied, it kind of hurts your chances as the Cardinals. So they didn't do what they were.
It was a wild game. I mean, they sent up Albert Pujols to pinch hit in that ninth inning. That would have.
Yeah.
Wow. He didn't get the job done as he flew out to center field.
Yeah.
But that would have been just.
By the way, if he makes that,
hit the game-winning homer.
If he hits the game-winning homer, and they come into the bottom of the ninth and they shut him out. Let's say they make it. At that point, does he just retire? He hands them his bat and says, "Guys, it's been great. See ya. I'm out." Like, he couldn't have done it any better. At this point, the likelihood is he's probably going to retire, right? I think everybody expects that this stint with the Cardinals was kind of his homecoming to finish his career.
Pujols was with the Dodgers.
Oh, really?
Pujols is in Los Angeles.
I thought he was with the okay. Well, fine.
No, he had a chance to be.
That would have been even better then.
To win the game.
Because the Cardinals love it in the Pujols.
Yeah. I didn't watch any of the Yankees-Red Sox game. I caught the tail end, like the eighth and ninth innings of the Cardinals game.
I didn't catch any of it. I obviously didn't.
So, before we get to the Cubs, the Rays are up 1-0 on the Red Sox. Game 2 is still going on. The Astros are up 2-0 on the White Sox.
Yeah.
As that series will be heading to the south side on, I think they get a travel day, so that series will start back up on Sunday. The Brewers had up 1-0 as they won Game 1 today.
Yep.
I think it was like 2-1 this afternoon. And the Giants-Dodgers series is just starting as we are on air together, so that counts as 0-0.
By the way, can I kind of say that at this point now that all of my picks are out? I kind of want it to end up being the Astros and the Dodgers, so the Dodgers can play some beanball.
That's fine. I was just going to offer that. So you're just going to pick the Astros that win the World Series? So you can jinx them?
No, I don't want
out of the playoffs.
So Danielle and I were talking. I was kind of explaining. So she was like, she was like surprised that I was not like. She was like, "Oh, I thought the White Sox were like your second least favorite team," and I'm like, "No, by far and away, they're probably like fourth, and it's even a distant fourth if they are fourth, because you have the Yankees would probably." The Yankees always sit at around number 2 for me as my least favorite team, my second least favorite team in the not the division, the entire majors. But honestly, the last few years, last year and this year, the Astros for me are still like I don't think I'm forgiving them for this. I'm gonna be that crotchety old guy. When you and I are sitting talking on our holographic podcast that we're doing when we're 85, not knowing how the technology works, but we're probably just talking to I'm just talking to myself in a room, and it's me hallucinating, thinking it's you there in a hologram, something like that. And I'm still going to be complaining about how the Astros stole the 2015 World Series and were cheaters and nobody got punished for it.
It was the 17 World
Series. Or the 17, yeah. Sorry, the 17 World Series, and nobody got punished for it. Like, I'm going to be that guy. And I don't know if the Astros have taken second place, but they might have taken second place as my least favorite team. in
behind the Cardinals.
Well, the Cardinals number one, always and forever will be number one. But then I don't know, the Astros right now are probably number two, and then the Yankees, and then maybe the White Sox. What are your top three least favorite teams?
Top three least favorite, it probably would be the Cardinals.
Yep.
For whatever reason, I just don't like the Giants.
Really?
I think a lot of it has to do with that string of success where they were winning the World Series every other year, and I was losing lunch bets every other year.
That's true. Well, the other thing that goes along with it is the first year of that. I mean, you know this story because we've told it countless times. The first year of that, I went with my dad to a conference in April, and we were in San Francisco for the conference, and Dad and I got to go to a game for $5 each ticket to watch the Giants play. And then they go and win the World Series. And that was the start of their run of every other year.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of followed them when Barry Bonds was with the team.
Yeah.
But I don't know, that string of success. That's just too much success in such a small amount of time.
I don't mind it. I have a Giants hat upstairs. I don't wear it because I'm not a fan of the team. It was a gift from a coworker of my dad's who knew that we had that story, and she was out there every other week, or she lived out there and she traveled up here regularly. I don't remember the entire story, but I helped her one time with her flights, and so she got me the hat thinking it would be a nice gesture, and I appreciate it. Julie, if you ever hear this, I do appreciate the hat. I kept it. I still have it, and I will continue to have it forever. But and it will remind me of the day that I got to see the first major league game I ever got to see with my dad.
Cool. So. And I really don't know if I have a third team.
Okay.
I really.
The Astros don't do it for you?
No.
The Yankees? Come on now.
Really?
You don't like the Yankees.
I don't like the Yankees, but I don't hate them either.
Rich, we may need to talk about this a little bit. I thought we were on the same wavelength about this thing. I don't like. Yeah,
neutral. They're just neutral. For
I know.
me,
I hate them. I hate them.
I mean.
I cheered when the Red Sox beat them in the playoffs. I cheered. I remember watching that. Them was it 03 when they finally beat.
I think it was.
Yeah, when they finally beat them, and the bloody saga, all of it. I remember all of it. It's funny because nobody remembers the World Series that year. Everybody remembers those games and the games against the
Yankees.
The Yankees, yeah. Everybody remembers that. Nobody cares about the World Series that year.
Was that the year that they beat the Cardinals, or did they beat the Rockies that year?
I don't remember. I should, but I don't. Okay. So we're updated on that. We've had enough baseball talk. Rich? Oh wait, no, we don't. We haven't.
We got to go to the Cubs.
Okay.
A little bit.
We got to end the year on a good note.
Yeah, they finished 2-0
against the Cardinals.
Woo! Cardinals.
Okay, I'm done. So Rich, seriously, can this team be salvaged? What pieces do they keep? Give me one other than Wilson Contreras. We've already decided that they're building the team around Wilson Contreras, right? That's kind of the concept.
Let's hope that they do.
Okay.
Let's hope that they do.
If they're building the team around Wilson Contreras, we're taking that out of it. Who of their young players do you see hope in? So you have the foundation here, but you got to put something on top of that foundation. That first brick on top of that foundation. Do you see it in any of their young players right now?
I want to see more, but I think the guy could be Nico Horner.
Okay, I actually like that.
But I mean,
I was thinking Patrick Wisdom myself.
yeah, I think Patrick Wisdom and even Frank Swindell, I think, deserves a chance to see what they can do over the course of 162 games.
So
Before
I think
you go and spend money to get a first baseman or a guy that can play third base.
so. We got those three guys. Okay, so we have. I would call them the foundation A. So there's a foundation, then the next level of foundation. You have the first brick, and then you build around it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, do they have enough guys in that next tier, or is that where we need to start working?
I think that's where you need to start working. I think they have their infield
Okay.
in house
Yep.
with at least see what they can do. So you put Wisdom, you have going around the horn. You got Wisdom, Horner, Nick Madrigal, the guy you got in
Yeah.
the Trimble trade,
Yeah.
and then and then Swindell, and then probably Contreras behind the dish.
Do you see any of our starters from this year being our day one starter?
Starting pitchers,
Yeah.
only Kyle Hendricks.
You think he'll be a day one, our ace? You think he's going to continue to be our ace? We started seeing him slip at the end of the year.
I think we will.
Okay.
Because I don't see the Cubs spending big on a big name pitcher.
But
I mean,
so
supposedly at his end of year press conference, he said that we want to get more power arms. But I think you're going to still see. I think they're going to sign guys to more like a pillow contract, I guess.
okay.
Like a 1 or a 2 year deal to where if it works out great, you got him on a good contract and he gets to go lead the team next year to sign a bigger deal, or if the team still isn't playing well at the trade deadline, you can flip him for prospects at
Okay.
the deadline.
Here's my thing though. Like you said, we have that decent. The infield is fairly. Looks like it could be handled, right? We have a good enough infield.
It's good enough. It's good enough between guys that you want to see more of, or maybe they are core guys.
If the trade deadline was to free up money for off-season talent, why not? Right now, we've seen that our infield is decent. It's good enough. I hate using that term, but it's good enough to hold the line most of the time. Our outfield has some question marks, one of which is an anchor of a salary that we're stuck with for the rest of eternity, it seems like. But so right field is handled. We don't have to worry about that. We have center and left. Those guys, you could probably pick up somebody to do that relatively on the cheap, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take the rest of that money. We have a fairly small salary right now. We're not wasting a lot of money. We have one massive contract that's choking us. But it's not bad enough compared with the addition of our rookie deals. Why not go out and just spend the rest of the money that we have on pitching? Why is that not what they're going to do?
And I hope that's what they are going to do.
Okay. You don't think that's what they're going to do. That's what your hope is, but you don't think that's what they're going to do is what it sounds like then.
I just think we might be thinking of different ways of how they're going to spend that money. You think it could be cases to where they're going to sign the best pitchers available and just throw money at the problem and hope it fixes itself. I think they're going to go bargain shopping and get guys and hope that they get the type of production that the Giants got out of signing cast-offs and retreads.
But that's what we did this year. That's what we did this year, isn't it?
Between trades and signing, yes.
Okay, what's the definition of insanity?
Repeating the same thing and hoping for better results.
Okay, If they repeat the same thing and hope for better results, they're insane.
Yeah.
They need
Last year,
to dump money into the pitcher position so that we can so that our pitching is not the problem. We need some relievers. We need some great starters. That's where they need to throw money at the situation.
Okay.
And they got enough.
Just have to see where they go.
They got enough Wrigleyville money and rent and all the extra stuff they have going on. They own the entire neighborhood. They're making enough money on it. They can afford to spend a little extra and even pay a luxury tax.
Yeah. So, an article that I read on a news site that comes up on my Apple News app a lot is from the Cubs crib.
Yeah.
They suggested players that the Cubs should sign if they choose to spend money.
Okay.
For the outfield, they suggested signing Kyle Schwarber and or Nick Castellanos. But their premise on the article was signing those two guys was that one can play left field and one DHs.
Okay.
Their premise is that, well, the DH is going to be available next year, so sign those two guys.
Are we sure it's going to be available?
I don't think it will be. I'm starting to think that the union won't give in on that one, and you'll see the DH only in the American League.
Yeah.
And then they suggested pitchers. They suggested Max Scherzer, if you can get him to do a 1 or a 2 year deal. And then Marcus Stroman and Robbie Ray.
Yeah. The Scherzer is I question if he's starting to hit that downhill slide. But no, I like it. It's not a terrible idea. I don't think the DH is going to be a thing on both sides unless they get another full roster spot.
I don't think it will either. So you're saying throw money at the problem, sign pitchers, worry about left and right field with
budget
about that when
budget it.
Budget that. So go bargain shopping for a left and a center fielder.
Yep.
Or keep Hap and figure out left field later.
Yeah, you can keep Hap. That's fine.
And throw money at starting pitchers.
Throw money at starting pitchers. If you can get starting pitchers that can go 6 deep, 7 deep every time they come up, you only need 1 or 2 guys in the bullpen that you can count on, right?
Yep.
Okay. And if you can eliminate the problem being that you have to just you have to, sorry for the bad use of terms, but you just have to outbat the other team to rack up the score high enough in order to win. Isn't that it? I mean, the concept of what's the biggest concept in sports? The best offense is a good defense, right?
Yeah.
Best offense is a good defense. Who's the guy that controls the defense the most?
Pitchers.
All right. That's just, I don't know. I don't, and the problem is I don't know. I like the Scherzer idea, but again, you got to make sure he's not, that his fade off at the end of this year isn't a full fade. It's just a stumble, you know?
Okay. For me, I think that I would rather see them use 22 as a prove-it year.
Okay.
To the guys that are currently on the roster and somebody like Ian Happ, who seems to have a good second half but has a terrible first half, prove it that you can be a solid contributor throughout the 162-game season.
Yeah.
And then I would rather see him maybe go bargain shopping for pitchers, but different types of pitchers. I mean, you mentioned that, what's the definition of insanity? Because that's what they did last year, and it didn't work. But last year, they went for all soft tossers
Yeah.
finesse pitchers.
Um,
So if they can
no.
get,
No, they didn't. They went with their old ace, Jake Arrieta, who his thing was let's throw it as hard as we can. He's not a softball pitcher.
but Zach Davies, and I don't even remember the rest of the rotation, but it was a lot of soft tossers and finesse pitchers.
Yeah, I mean, their hope is that they can get a group of guys that are all Kyle Hendrickses.
But Kyle Hendricks is effective because he's sandwiched between two guys that throw gas.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It throws off. Your entire rotation is Kyle Hendricks he's not going to be as effective, and the rest of the heat. And if that's what the type of pitchers are going to be thrown at the entire series, that makes it hard to change things up. But I think there's a lot of talent down in the minors. It's just waiting time to get them developed and get them up. So I'd hate to see them throw money at a long-term deal to maybe have them be great for a year where we might get a wild card, might get a wild card and get bounced in the first round, and then that payroll's tied up by the time the top prospects are up and ready to be in the big leagues.
Next concept that I have. Do you think it's time for the Cubs to start looking towards the opener?
I think they could do it. There's some great candidates on that roster for an opener.
Is that kind of would 2022 be the year for the Cubs for the Cubs to try to roll that out?
I think so. There's some players on the roster that are kind of borderline whether they should be a starting pitcher and pitch 5 innings or whether they should come out of the bullpen.
I mean, you have guys. The only person right now on the roster is Cousin Kyle.
Yep.
He's the only one on the roster right now that has proven that you can count on him to come in and start every game or every time and throw 6 good innings. Right? So outside of that, if you have a starter or an opener and then bring in your, I guess they call them the starters at that point. Is that I don't know how Tampa Bay calls it. I don't know what they call those guys. They're long guys that used
long
to be
relievers or another, basically a long reliever that's going to maybe pitch 3 innings.
Yeah.
Get through the lineup one time. All right, go get another bullpen guy.
Yeah.
Go through the lineup one time. Go get another guy.
Yeah. Again, that could be the concept that we go for, and maybe and again, this is one of Kyle Hendricks' biggest strengths is when he's sandwiched between some heaters, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if you do opener, you do Kyle day 1, opener day 2, maybe opener day 3, get a decent starter, a strong starter for 4 or 5, and then your opener 6, maybe? I don't know. I don't know how that opener works all the way. I don't know if it's is it like a closer that is just counted on every game to get the game started? Is that what it is?
I don't know. A lot of people see it in different ways. So
if we go to something like that, could that change it up enough? Could the concept of, well, we have to start facing opener one day, we have to face Kyle another day, we have to face, sure, we'll go with Scherzer. He's a decent heavy ball throw, like a hard ball thrower, right?
Yeah.
So if we go Scherzer another day, if you have to do that, and then you have another day of an opener, that gets you that variety that you kind of need with Hendricks, right?
I think so. But I mean, overall, I think I remain hopeful that the team can put together a good roster. If anything, they don't have much payroll tied up, but I think you are going to see a lot of pitchers signed this year because right now Hendricks is the only guy that's probably guaranteed a roster spot in that starting rotation.
Yep.
So Mike, we went a lot longer on that than I thought we would, but so let's go out to the track.
Let's
Mike.
start our engines.
Yeah, start the engines.
Let's start them engines as we head into the NASCAR Corner presented by Triple Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out for all your sports memorabilia needs, either in-store or online at their eBay store. Rich, give us our fantasy shout-outs real quick.
Fantasy shoutouts. All right. So I got to look those up. I did horrible. I know I came in last in the rain-shortened Yellowwood 500 out at Talladega. Looking those up, I think if I remember right, I think Tony was the weekly winner for Talladega, and I think Dupo came in third. So I got that up finally.
Tony came in first. Solomon came in second. I came in third.
Okay.
And you came in fourth.
Yep, 93 points. That rain shortened race, I think, really hurt all of us. Me, probably the most.
Yep.
But
and that changes the playoff standings for us. Solomon takes first. I'm in second. Rich, you are in third, but Tony is starting to creep up on you.
Yep. I still have a good, comfortable lead in the overall standings, though.
You really do.
As,
you really do.
56-22 for the overall. Second place is Solomon, who is at 53-39.
Okay.
All right, so the Yellowwood 500 over at Talladega. We said it was a rain-shortened race. Bubba Wallace was in the lead at the right time as he gets his first Cup victory as he won the rain-shortened race at 117 laps out of the total 188 laps. Mike, your drivers finished much better than mine as Kevin Harvick finished 9th and Chase Briscoe finished 14th. My picks of Ryan Blaney and Tyler Reddick finished 15th and 39th.
With that, I have taken the playoff lead 6-5 and the overall lead 21-20. This week we head to the Roval at Charlotte for the Bank of America Roval at Charlotte. Rich, who do you have for this week's race?
Well, Mike, you have the honors of picking both drivers first, since your Talladega drivers finished better than mine.
Okay, in that choice, I'm going to pick Kevin Harvick and Ryan Newman. Kevin Harvick needs a win, or at least to finish 9 points higher than, is it Ryan Blaney? I don't remember who has the lead ahead of him. I'll get it real quick. You give us yours, and I'll have that by the time you're done.
Mine, I'm going to go with Chase Elliott. It's hard to pick against Chase Elliott when the road course is on the docket. And for a non-playoff driver, I'm going to go with AJ Allmendinger, who's also a really good road racer.
So Kevin Harvick is in 9th, 41 points behind Kyle Busch. So he needs he technically needs a win in order to make the next round.
Okay, Kyle Busch normally really hasn't had a good luck on the Roval, so I think he could hunt some stage points and get ahead of him. I like the pick, Mike.
Okay, so anything else in the NASCAR corner before we head out?
Not really. My preseason pick of Martin Truex Jr. It doesn't look like he has advanced to the next round yet. But he is in the 5th position in the standing, so he could also go hunting for points.
If he's in 5th, he's guaranteed to be in the top 5, or he's guaranteed to make the cut.
But other people below the cut line could get him.
But he
go above him.
Even if he can't, because he's in 5th. 8th through 5th. Ryan.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so he's
Holman, Newman, Bell, and Harvick are pretty far behind, so he should advance.
He's going to advance. The one thing we do need to point out: congratulations to Bubba Wallace, congratulations to Michael Jordan, congratulations to Denny Hamlin in their win this week. We blew past the fact that because it was a rain-shortened race and all this, that, and the other. But man, those guys have been working really hard to get that win. They deserve every inch of it. Bubba Wallace becoming only the 2nd African-American driver to ever win in NASCAR. Great job on him. He's amazingly talented, and it's nice. A lot of guys talk about once you get that first win under your belt, the winning starts coming easier. So look out for him the rest of this year and all of next year.
Nicely done, Mike. All right, so NFL.
Well, first we have to say this has been the NASCAR Corner, presented by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out for all your sports card or your sports memorabilia needs in Moline, Illinois, or online at ebay.com. Now on to the NFL.
Yep. All right, the weekly pick-on. So it's still just the three of us, Mike, you, me, and the Midget Nation.
Yep. And let me get into that. Balls and sticks. There we are. I'm in it. Yep. So this week, let me get this week's performances. You won this last week with 11 picks. I had 8. Midget Nation had 7. That makes you the leader by 3. Then me and you have 43. I have 40, and Midget Nation at 36. These picks only has 9. Picked the first week, hasn't picked since. Solomon hasn't picked a game. Either he's really bad, or he just doesn't care.
I'm gonna go with he's really bad. And hoping that maybe he's making the picks and maybe he's not. So I don't know. So we'll go quick fire through week 4 so we can give our picks for week 5 and then probably end out the show going with our power rankings since we didn't get to spend much time on those last week. All right, so the Bears, they won in week number 4 as they won 24-14 over the Lions. We both picked the Bears, making all of our marks, you, me, and the Bears, 2-2.
Yeah.
Locks of the week, the Bills won 40-0 over the Texans, so I got my lock. Mike, those Tennessee Titans lost to the New York Jets 27-14 in overtime.
Yeah, man. Wait till we get to the power rankings to show you how terrible that has done for them.
Okay. So that makes you 3-1 on locks. I'm 4-0. Upset specials. You did not get your upset as the Browns lost to the Vikings.
No, the Browns beat the Vikings 14-7.
Yeah, the Browns beat 14-7, and I didn't get mine either as the Panthers lost for the first time to the Dallas Cowboys 36-28.
Which should help them.
2-2 for the upsets.
And we are perfect. Oh no, we aren't perfect.
I'm undefeated on Thursday night.
Yep, Rich, you were perfect on Thursday nights, picking the Rams over Seattle, which they did. I picked them as well, which makes me 4-1 on the season. Heading into this week, Rich, the Bears head to the Raiders in Las Vegas. Who are you picking? This has changed since we started.
I know. I'm gonna stick with my preseason pick of saying that the Bears are gonna pull out a win. So I'm gonna stick with the Bears.
Okay, I'm not gonna pick the Bears. I'm gonna pick the Raiders. Okay, Rich, it's an odd week, so I get to pick. With that pick, I am picking the Bucks over the Dolphins as my lock of the week. Who do you have for your lock of the week?
For my lock of the week, I'm going to go with the Patriots over the Texans. The Texans just don't seem like they want to win games. And, yeah, so I'm going to go with I'm going to take the Pats.
And some
Mike,
upset
alert.
I'm smelling some special cooking coming from Denver. Denver Broncos are going to win over the Steelers in an upset.
Yep, I like that. I like that pick. I think it's been, by our definition, it's an upset. So, I don't blame you. I like the Broncos in that game, even if it wasn't an upset. I wouldn't call it a lock, but I like the Broncos in that game.
Yeah.
For mine, I'm gonna go way off to the extreme for an upset, and I'm gonna go with the Cincinnati Bengals over the Packers.
Is that kind of wishful thinking there?
Yes.
Okay. This week's Thursday night.
Plus, there aren't that many upsets this week.
No, there's not a lot of good upsets to pick from this week. The only other one that I would have thought, other than the Broncos over the Steelers, I would have thought the Bills over the Kansas City Chiefs. That could be the only other upset of the week that I would really feel confident in picking. This week's Thursday night game of the week: Buccaneers versus the Eagles. Rich, is there any question in your mind on who's going to win this game?
Not unless Tom Brady gets injured.
Even then, I still think they have a better chance at winning the game.
All right, so we're both taking the Bucs.
Yep. Okay. You ready to get into these power rankings?
Yes, sir, because I think we're finally going to disagree based on we're going to disagree.
I know we are. So, the power rankings at number 1, the power rankings have the Buffalo Bills. Rich, who do you have at number 1?
I went with the only undefeated team in the league, the Arizona Cardinals.
I picked the Buffalo Bills. Number 2, I have the Arizona Cardinals, along with the power rankings.
I went with the LA Rams.
Okay. By the way, the Arizona Cardinals and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tied. By the way, they tied for second place in the power rankings. By the way, I have them at third.
I put the Bucs at third too.
Okay.
In the number 3 hole.
In the number 4 spot, I have the Green Bay Packers. The power rankings have the Los Angeles Rams. And Rich, who do you have?
The Buffalo Bills.
Okay. Again, we're not that far off. I mean,
the biggest reason on why I put the Bills at 4 is because while they're 3-1, which is a great record, who did they lose to?
The Bills?
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, they lost to the Steelers.
And where are the Steelers ranked at?
Okay, we'll get there eventually. Maybe. Yeah. Probably
not. That's why I chose them. I think their one loss.
Okay.
Is to a team that's really far down the rankings.
Okay, number 5, I have the Los Angeles Rams. The power rankings have the Green Bay Packers.
I went with the Bolts here, the Superchargers.
Okay.
They're playing really well.
Not a bad pick. I have them in my top 10.
Okay.
And number 6, who do you have, Rich?
This is where I put the Green Bay Packers.
Okay. Now I'm asking, I'm not accusing.
Okay.
Is this a little bit of division bias?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I just see that as they lost really badly to the New Orleans Saints.
They
did.
The
Saints have been really streaky.
But so yours is as a reaction to the Saints loss, even though the Saints are 2-2. Which is not a terrible record right now. Somehow that's not a terrible record already. Okay, number 6, I have the Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay. The Raiders are a little further down in my rankings. We'll get there though.
Number 6, the power rankings. What? We haven't gotten to year 6. Oh, wait, we did get to year 6. The power rankings have the Baltimore Ravens. Rich, you are on for number 7.
Number 7, I went with the Cleveland Browns.
I went with the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers could be undefeated if they could have held on to the ball and kicked an extra point again, not missed a field goal or an extra point in Kansas City in week 1. So I got to give them props. Their one loss is to a really good Chiefs team that's struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I have them at 7. That's still pretty good. Number 8, Rich, where are you sitting on number 8?
Number 8, I went with the Baltimore Ravens.
I have the Cleveland Browns. My number 9.
Not that far.
My number 9 is the Baltimore Ravens.
My number 9, I went with the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, Rich, my number 10, the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, we finally closed that gap.
Yeah.
Between our rankings on the Dallas Cowboys.
And where is who is your number 10?
My number 10, I went with the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm gonna go. We'll get all the. I'll get all the way down to the Chiefs. My number 11, the San Francisco 49ers.
I gave the Raiders the number 11 spot.
Okay, that's gonna be our big gap this week, I think. And number 12 is where I have the Kansas City Chiefs.
12 is where I put the Panthers.
Okay.
For now.
I think that's a little generous to the Panthers. I think the Seahawks. I have the Seahawks at 13.
13 is where I put the 49ers. I put the Seahawks at 14.
I put the Tennessee Titans at 14.
And why not? We've gone this far. Who's number 15?
The Denver Broncos.
This is where I put the Bengals at number 15.
That's my 16.
Okay. My 16 was the Broncos.
So we just flipped those two, and that's not a huge gap on that one. So I think our biggest gap of anything. Well, let's do our bottom 5.
Yep. Bottom 5.
Do you want to start at the bottom and work your way up, or do you want to work from the top of this list to the bottom?
Let's go to the top. Let's go from the bottom and work our way up to that number 28 hole.
Okay.
Fifth.
Well, this one I think I know for a fact we both have the same team. Stinky Finger himself, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I have Jacksonville as well. They haven't won a game for a reason, Mike.
Are we talking about that? Are we going to hit that on quick hits?
Maybe.
Okay.
No, I don't see why not. Let's go for it.
Okay.
I went with Jacksonville. My 31 was the Detroit Lions.
Who wouldn't pick them at 31? That's who I have at 31. My number 30 is the New York Jets.
Well, I went with the Falcons here.
Wow. Okay. We might need to. I might need to. Ooh, man, I have the Falcons at 25.
Okay.
I don't know why I feel so good about them, but it's mostly because I feel so bad. But the teams, we're going to go all the way. We're going to go all the way up to 35. We're going to go all the way up to 25, and it's because the teams between 25 and 30, I feel so terrible about.
Okay.
So at 29,
it was hard for me to look at who are the 1-win teams, and it was saying, all right, who was their one win against?
29.
Did they lose to?
I have the New York City Giants, football Giants.
I went with the Jets here.
Okay. 28. Who do you got,
28,
Rich?
28, I went with the Texans.
Okay. I went with Miami at 28.
Okay.
27, I went with the Houston Texans.
27 is where I put the football Giants.
Okay. Who do you got at 26?
26 is where I put the Dolphins.
Okay. I have the Philadelphia Eagles at 26.
We're not that far off because that's where I put the Eagles was at 25.
And I put the Atlanta Falcons. So from 25 on, we are identical. We have the same teams in there. We just mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. A lot closer than I thought they would.
Okay. Now,
Mike.
Okay,
go ahead.
Go ahead. You first.
Where do you put the Bears?
18.
I put the Bears at 24.
Ooh.
I
don't think they're that bad of it. Here's the thing. 25 down, dumpster fire. Okay? 19 to 25, I would say is smoldering. 18, I say is hot garbage.
All right. I mean, for me, it was trying to determine, all right, this is where I was trying to use the logic of if they played head-to-head, who would win?
I hate when you use my logic against me a lot of that time.
I know,
all these times.
And that's what I mean. The Colts aren't that much better and technically have a worse record.
Yep.
But I think the Colts could be a better football team.
I think the Colts are. I don't know if the Colts are a better football team. I don't know that. I don't think their offense can withstand the Bears' defense. And I think the Bears' offense would struggle, but I think they could score. I think the Bears' defense would score enough points that the Bears' offense wouldn't would be able to win the game.
Okay. And then I put the Steelers, the Vikings, the Patriots ahead of them.
See, I don't put the Vikings. I can't do. They're
Not yet.
behind in the division.
Okay.
So, yeah, I
mean, I could see if the Bears pull off that win in Vegas.
yeah. If the
Then
Bears pull
that
off the
could
win in
happen.
Vegas, they probably hit 15. By the way, 15 is where I have the Tennessee Titans.
I
15.
put the Titans down to the 18.
Or no, I have them at 14. I'm sorry. I have them at 14.
I put them at 18.
Oh man. I couldn't go that low. Because again, I think the teams that are between 14 and where did you say 18, 19?
18, 19, yeah.
18. I think the teams between that are so much worse than the Tennessee Titans. Yes, they lost. They lost in overtime, and they lost a close overtime game. I mean, any game that goes to overtime is close, so by definition.
Mm-hmm.
But they lost in overtime, and when they lost in overtime, they lost to a team that I don't know. They lost to a garbage team. There's no excusing that. By the way, the other team that lost to another terrible team wasn't that who was it that the Giants beat?
The Giants beat the Saints in overtime for their first
Yeah.
win.
I have the Saints at 19, by the way.
I put the Saints at 17.
Okay. Either way, Tennessee was in our top 10 last week. I'm pretty sure I had Tennessee in my top 10 last week.
I don't think I did.
I'm pretty sure I did. And for them to have dropped as low as 14 is huge.
Mm-hmm. And that's fair.
That is a huge drop. By the way, the New Orleans Saints, because of the way the ELO science of it works, the mathematics of it works, still hold on to 6th in the ELO points. Crazy. Anyway, let's get to anything else in the power rankings you want to talk about.
Not really. I think we had a good. I think that. I mean, those were a lot of our gaps. The Seahawks, I think, are not the Seahawks. We have a big gap on the Panthers.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm giving them credit for their 3-0 start, and you're kind of still in that wait and see overachieve. They're overachieving.
They are way overachieved. Okay, so
So I guess some quick hits. Urban Meyer got in some hot water.
Yeah.
On the bye week.
Urban Meyer, it wasn't even a bye week. It was after the Thursday game.
Right, yeah.
He went home, or he went to They were in. Where'd they play?
They were in Cincinnati.
They were in Cincinnati, which is not that far from his home, from where his home is, because he had moved to Ohio, and he decided to go hang out at his bar that he has there. And
in the Columbus area with family, so he was with family. It wasn't just, all right, I'm gonna go up and see how my bar's doing.
Yeah, and he
looked
looked
big family gathering.
He looked pretty far gone. He looked close to blackout drunk, by the way. But had a young woman decide to grind up on him, and some of the videos indicate that he was groping her in a way, I think is the best way to describe it.
But for the most part, he wasn't trying to push her away and say, "Hey, this isn't appropriate," or
Nope.
I just came over here for a photo. I'm not coming onto the dance floor with you.
Yeah, no, it was bad look. I don't know. I don't think it's as big of a deal as everybody's making it out to be, but it's still a pretty big deal. Especially when you're maybe he was so depressed he had to get this drunk to forget about the loss. Maybe that's what it was. Either way,
maybe it was.
Bad look.
Got some bad press. A lot of people, apart from it being that he was out at a bar and a woman that wasn't his wife was dancing provocatively with him, and it got caught on video.
Yep.
So I mean, it started off as a, hey, can we do a picture with you, and the picture turned into him getting dragged onto the dance floor, either whether it was
Oh, he ended up on the.
against his.
I never saw a video of him on the dance floor. I only saw him sitting in his stool, like hunched over with his hand on his.
No,
Okay.
that supposedly he wound up on a dance floor, and the girl was dancing provocatively
Okay.
against him.
Either
So,
way,
but, I mean,
bad look.
It's not a good look. Some former players, kind of gave him a bad rep about how they never had a coach not fly back on the team plane with them.
There is
When
some truth to that. The other thing I would argue about. I don't know Urban Meyer, so I don't know where he is spiritually. But why do I expect anything less from a guy like that? I mean, if it was one of his players, out doing that, would anybody blink an eye?
I don't think they would.
Think of one of his players. I don't know. I don't care about the Jacksonville Jaguars to think about their players, but think about one of their players. If he's out on the dance floor and there's a video of him that drunk doing the same thing, is anybody going to freak out about it?
Probably not, but you might have the head coach or the veteran leader saying, "Hey, you should know better," and
Yeah.
you should know better. You embarrassed us, and that's kind of the backlash that Urban Meyer got from ownership, saying that.
But he also got it from the public. Here's a
Yeah.
better one for you. Timeout. If this was Sean McVay, because he's 30 years younger, 25 years younger. I don't know how old Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer's old. He's in his 70s, right? Almost 70, whatever.
He ain't no his 70s, but at least he's
He's in
gotta
his
be
60s. Okay,
Yeah.
so he's 30 years younger. We'll say he's about 30 years younger. So if it's Sean McVay, and he's seen in a similar position, does anybody bat an eye? I still don't think so. It's because it's Urban Meyers. It's because he's older than dirt itself that we're all up in arms.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of heard it both ways. While driving home from work, I heard one comment.
By the way, how's that feel, driving home from work?
That's a topic for another day. I mean, I heard being saying that he didn't see that he needed to apologize to the team for what he did. He was doing what anybody else does during their off hours. He went to his bar. He had a dinner. He had a nice family dinner, and the situation escalated, and somebody caught it on camera.
Yep.
Unbeknownst to him.
Yep.
I think it's mainly being blown out of proportion because it's Urban Meyer.
And by the way, so if the team had won, if the team was undefeated right now, if it was what's his face in Arizona?
Kingsbury.
If it was Cliff Kingsbury, he goes out and celebrates because they're 4-0, and some girl's grinding on him, and he's doing the same thing. Does anybody care? No. Why? Because it's a celebration. We're having fun. We're holding Urban Meyers up to a standard higher than anybody else, and I don't like it. Leaves the old man alone. He's already going to lose his job for being a terrible coach in the NFL.
Or he's going to leave for a better opportunity.
SEC.
When a college season comes open. Speaking of fun, Mike, the Super Bowl halftime show was announced 2 weeks ago.
Whoop, whoop. I am beyond excited for this one. Like, I rarely get excited for Super Bowl halftime shows. This is one that I don't know that I want to have a church Super Bowl party for.
Because you want to watch the entire show and not feel guilty if they do a radio version of a.
Nowadays, everybody want to talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move to just a bunch of gibberish, and everybody act like they forgot about Dre.
Yep. So your Super Bowl halftime show performers will be Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, I think Kendrick Lamar and Eminem are the only two that are not from the LA area, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Everybody else is an LA guy, is an LA person. NWA with Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. I mean, if you are not excited about this, you did not grow up with me in the same. You did not grow up in the same neighborhood that I did. I am stoked. I love rap music. I grew up in the ghetto. I am more excited about this one than I have been for a Super Bowl halftime show in years. Probably since U2, and I was only excited because of my friends were excited about it at the time. I wasn't super excited about it. Okay, you have a story on here about a guy. Speaking of Snoop Dogg and his extracurricular activities, a guy that could be his friend, Josh Gordon.
Yeah. Josh Gordon gets reinstated from the league by the NFL. What's about his 5th time he's been suspended and then
By the way,
reinstated by the NFL?
So I don't know how it works, but if I remember correctly, the NFL Players Association was able to get marijuana off the tested for list, correct? Or is that only for people that aren't in the program?
I think that might be only in the off season. So I think if it's in season, it's still eligible to be tested for and you can be suspended.
Okay.
But immediately after getting reinstated by the league, he goes and signs with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, good on him. Good on him. Speaking of signings this week, how about the Green Bay Packers picking up former Dallas Cowboy Lamar Johnson?
Jalen Smith.
Oh, no, Jalen Smith. That's right. Yeah, Jalen Smith.
Good signing for him.
Yeah.
I was almost thinking in my head, the Bears need to go out and get that guy for free. But he is what he is. But I got my issue with Josh Gordon is how many second chances is this guy going to get?
I think the league is starting. I think the league and the public in general are starting to light up on the concept of marijuana, understanding the medicinal qualities of it. And I mean, man, if the guy wants to toke, let him toke. That's how I feel about it. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I can understand. I mean, he's gotten a lot of second chances. You would think he would learn. I would put it a coin toss on whether or not he's in the league by the end of the year. Because gonna need that toke. Okay, last quick hit of the week. Spoiler alert. What? Spoiler alert. If you do not want The Masked Singer spoiled for you, turn this off now. Thank you for listening. We love you. See you next week. Spoiler alert. Have I done it enough?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. If you're still listening, we are talking about The Masked Singer. And we are going to give spoilers. You've been warned. You've had enough time to turn it off. Let's get into it. Rich, this week, the worst performance of the week was the guy who went home. But what did you think of everybody else? And do you have any guesses on anybody else?
I don't.
I don't either.
I really don't have any good guesses on anybody. Who's been your well so far? So we've seen Dwight Howard as the octopus.
Yep.
Go home.
Tony Braxton as the no, not Tony Braxton. No, she was the wife in Independence Day. Speaking of Independence Day, I can't think of her name. The pufferfish.
Man, we were really prepared for this one. I know the pufferfish went home. I couldn't remember who she was.
I don't. R&B superstar Tony Braxton. Yeah.
Okay. Tony Braxton.
That's not right.
And the Dalmatian, Tyga. Tyga, the puffer fish was Tony Braxton,
Yep.
and Mother Nature, Vivica A.
That's right.
Fox.
Vivica A. Fox, who was the wife on Independence Day. That's right. Yeah. And then this week,
I thought Tyga did. I mean, I still don't know who Tyga is. I thought he did a really good job
yeah,
as the Dalmatian.
I think it did. It's been great. This is some of the talent. This so far has been amazing.
Hmm.
Oh, who was the rapper that they kicked off?
Tyga.
Yeah,
Tyga was the um, hip hop star that didn't make it. That didn't make the cut. I mean, but so far there really hasn't been like any reveals where it's like, who is that guy? Or
yeah.
I'm glad that. Why are they sending that person home?
No, I agree.
Been good. It's been good performances.
I think Tony Braxton. Yeah, that was slightly shocking. She's very talented, very talented, and yeah. This week,
Solid, yeah.
now that we've talked about it enough, we're now to the point where we're talking about this week's episode. So if you haven't watched this week's episode, you better have turned it off by now. The baby went home, which was good.
Yep.
He did a terrible job. But I felt bad because I actually liked who the guy was who it turned out to be, which is
Larry the Cable Guy.
Get Her Done.
It was a great. He had a good clue package too.
He did.
That threw everybody off, saying that he replaced Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
In a movie. Technically, he did.
Yep.
In a probably straight to video release of Jingle All the Way 2.
And who did he replace for the Tooth Fairy in?
The Tooth Fairy was Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Yeah, like he did really good, and his clue package was great. Nobody was gonna guess him, but he did terrible. So we have gone.
I thought it was a funny performance, but I was glad. But based on how that performance stacked up against everybody else, he was the weakest performer, and the weakest performer went home.
Yep, totally agree. We have gone an hour and 17 minutes, Rich. Next week we won't have the Cubs to talk about, so that'll be quicker.
We'll have to talk about. We'll have to go to the hardwood for the first time.
Yeah.
But
we don't need the NHL next week. Well, we'll need the Stanley Cup Finals and all
just
that.
A quick hit.
Quick stuff. And the NBA will be quick. So we'll have more time to talk Masked Singer next week. That's next week. But first, Rich, people are watching us. They want to take us in their cars because, 2 hours and 18 minutes to watch a video is a long time. They want to just listen to us while they drive. What should they do?
Find our podcast wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Apple, Spotify, Google, and our own Anchor.fm.
If you are listening to us via one of those mediums and you wonder what Rich and I look like, you can find us on YouTube. If you don't have a Facebook page, find us on YouTube. Search for Balls and Sticks there. If you want to participate in poll questions, jump onto Fans of Balls and Sticks, Facebook.com/Fans of Balls and Sticks. And if you want to be eligible to give us a comment shout out, jump on to our live feeds at Facebook.com/Balls and Sticks. Rich, you started the show with it. I'm going to end the show with it. Let's roll the outro. Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich. Bonus, give your shout out to your wife.
Hey, happy birthday, Amy. Again.
Happy birthday, Amy. Bye.